Random House Audio Voices presents The Great Psychedelic Armadillo Picnic, A Walk in Austin, by Kinky Friedman, read for you by the author. This book is dedicated to all the people over the past 50 years who have told me I couldn't write this masterpiece. Time, they say, changes the river. Time changes the city, too. Over the years, many people have helped Austin to shine in the spotlight, bask in the limelight, and skinny dip in the moonlight. There's Mirabeau B. Lamar, Sam Houston, and Stephen F. Austin. There's J. Frank Dobie, John Henry Falk, and Doug Somm. There's Liz Carpenter, Molly Ivins, and Ann Richards. There's George W., Lance Armstrong, and Barbara Jordan. Then there's the next governor of the state of Texas, yours truly, Kinky Friedman. If I'm elected the first Jewish governor of Texas, I'll reduce the speed limits to 54.95. Austin is a city nurtured by generations of musicians, politicians, and beauticians. With her countless clubs, bars, and dance halls, Austin is a whore with a heart of gold, flaunting her gaudy neon necklace in the Texas night. In Austin, they say when you die, you go to Willie Nelson's house. I can't swear this is true, but I do know if you come here, you'll find that the music is great, the beer is cold, and the natives are friendly. If you're lucky enough to hang around a while, you'll discover for yourself that the spirit of Austin is a puff of Willie, a riff of Stevie Ray, and a little piece of Janis's heart. The Bare Naked Essentials. Like most other busy cities these days, Austin is not very effectively traversed by foot. Indeed, if you're crazy enough to try, you might very well find yourself getting T-boned by a shuttle bus. There are places you can walk, jog, loiter, or hop around angrily in a circle, and we will get to these momentarily. But you must understand that a walk in Austin is primarily a spiritual sort of thing. You're going to need a four-wheeled penis of some kind. If you want to fit in perfectly, I'd recommend a pickup truck with a God Bless John Wayne bumper sticker. As long as we're on the subject, what exactly is Austin? If you were to round up a flock of random Austinites from around the city and present them with that question, you would get such answers as home of the University of Texas, the live music capital of the world, birthplace of Dell computers. Oddly enough, it is unlikely that any of those Austinites would say that Austin is the capital of Texas, or that Austin used to be a settlement named Waterloo, or that a man with the unlikely name of Mirabeau B. Lamar led the fight to make Austin the capital of the Republic of Texas, over Waco and Houston. See, we Austinites don't know enough about the background of our fair city. But you, dear visitor, will not be so impaired. Read on for the Bare Naked Essentials of Austin, intended to give you a bit of background on the town O. Henry nicknamed the Violet Crown. Once upon a time, when relations between cowboys and Indians were only slightly better than the level of violence in a modern American city, a man drank an entire bottle of mezcal, ate the worm at the bottom, and got so high he needed a stepladder to scratch his ass. The man was named Mirabeau B. Lamar. The year was 1836. It was a good year for mezcal. It was also a good year for Austin, in spite of the fact that it wasn't there yet. Texas had just won her independence from Mexico. 84 years later, the future first female governor of Texas, Ma Ferguson, would say, "If English was good enough for Jesus Christ, it's good enough for Texas." The new nation was christened the Republic of Texas, and with open arms she welcomed settlers to her ample bosom. In an area roughly located at the nipple of this bosom, a camp town named Waterloo grew. Among Waterloo's new citizens was former Georgian Mirabeau B. Lamar. Despite being from Georgia, Lamar was a true Renaissance man who excelled at horseback riding and fencing, wrote poetry, painted in oils, read voraciously, and collected matchbooks from many restaurants. He became a senator for Georgia by the time he was 31, and his career in Georgia politics looked promising until his wife, Tabitha, stricken with tuberculosis, was bugled to Jesus in 1830. Mirabeau was devastated by her death, and like any poet worth his iambic pentameter, he used his grief to write several of his best-known poems. Among them, An Evening on the Banks of the Chattahoochee and thou idol of my soul. In the meantime, his political career stagnated. Lamar's friend, James Fannin, had a home in the new Republic of Texas, and he invited Lamar to visit in hopes the trip would lift his pal out of despair. Like a lot of people who visit Texas, Mirabeau fell in love with the state and decided to stay. He was in Georgia preparing for his move to Texas when he heard about the massacres at the Alamo, during which Davy Crockett and Jim Bowie were killed, and at Goliad, where his friend Fannin and 341 other Texas freedom fighters were taken prisoner and ordered executed by General Santa Anna. The news spurred Lamar to immediately cut buns back to Texas to join the revolution as a private. He was soon commissioned a colonel on the field of San Jacinto just before the famous battle. The gentleman poet distinguished himself as a soldier on the battlefield by his bravery and quick actions. Texas came away from the battle victorious, and so did Lamar. With his political career back on track, he was made Secretary of War in the cabinet of ad interim President David G. Burnett. In the fall of 1836, in the Republic's first presidential election, Lamar became the Vice President of Texas. Sam Houston, a Major General who led Lamar and other soldiers to victory at the Battle of San Jacinto, was elected President. Sam Houston was one of the great characters in Austin's history. As an adolescent, he ran away from home to live among the Cherokees, who adopted him and gave him the Indian name Colonel, or Raven. Young Sam viewed the chief of the band, Ulutika, as his Indian father, and the tribe much as a surrogate family. He found peace, living La Vida Indian, and he enjoyed it for several years before he decided it was time to hang up his tomahawk and strike out on his own. The inner peace Houston found with the Cherokees was quickly sucked dry by the white man's world. In 1829, after a failed marriage and the subsequent nosedive of his political aspirations due to rumors of his infidelity and alcoholism, Houston returned to Chief Ulutika's band and stayed for 3 years. He tried to revisit the tranquility he had enjoyed with the tribe in his youth, but he drank so heavily that he allegedly received the nickname Big Drunk. Somewhere between the drinking and brawling, Houston married a Cherokee woman from the tribe, Tiana Rogers, a distant relative of Will Rogers, and worked as a commercial agent for his adopted clan. While Sam was on official business in Washington, an unfortunate congressman accused him of corruption, and Houston rebutted the charge by whooping the accuser's ass right there on the street. The ensuing public trial put Houston back at center stage, a move he later said gave him back his will to live. He was found guilty for contempt of Congress and given a $500 fine. Houston's former commander during the War of 1812, Andrew Jackson, now the U.S. President, paid Houston's fine on his last day in office. By 1836, the brawling, womanizing, alcoholic Sam Houston rode the wave of popularity as Old Sam Jacinto for his successful defeat of Santa Anna's army at the Battle of San Jacinto, and served as President of Texas for 2 terms. In 1838, after Houston's final term in office, Lamar decided to run for president. He won the office after the other 2 candidates both committed suicide before Election Day. It was this Renaissance man from Georgia who began to champion the fledgling settlement of Waterloo to be the official capital of Texas. President Lamar inherited a Texas that had no money, no commercial treaties, no international recognition except from the U.S., and no chance of annexation by the United States. Texas was under constant Indian attack, and Mexico continued to be a threat. Lamar, however, was a romantic. He envisioned a Texas whose borders would reach the Pacific Ocean. He wanted Waterloo to be the new capital, and he wanted it named after Stephen F. Austin, the man considered the founder of Anglo-American Texas. Austin had died in service as Secretary of State in 1836 at the age of 43. He is remembered in Texas history for his many contributions to the state, which included carrying out his father Moses's plans to establish an American colony in the Mexico.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?